Okay, what's up YouTube? I'm back on the video, and I want to show you here that Amazon banned the Nation of Islam books on the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. Now, I told you all months and months back that they was going to do this. And I told you I'd get these books because I said either they was going to jack the price up or take them down. And what they have done is happened. They took these books down. Amazon bans the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. And Jews say banning black books is safer than dialogue with blacks. Okay? They took them off the shelves. Now, because on my channel, they've been deleting my stuff as far as back in February. See that? You see I did the video? Removed. This is back in February 2019. They've been deleting my stuff. And I told you all to get the books. Now, we're gonna read something. I'm gonna read something for you. Matter of fact, let me ask you this question. What if I ask you all? Because there's a lot of controversy about whether we live on a flat earth, that the earth is round. What if I said that I think we live underwater? Because we have the water in the sea, and then we look up in the sky, it's blue. And the water in the sea is H2O. Water, H2O, is a solid, liquid, or gas. The H2O that we're breathing is a gas. But what if the H2O that we're breathing materialized into liquid form? Wouldn't we be dead? We would be dead. We would drown. So what is keeping us alive? Now, I'm going to read this for you. Listen to what these people admit. And then go back and watch my videos. Check this out. I'm going to post this in my description box. You can read it for yourself. One second. I don't know why this thing was slow. Okay, so we're going to read this. The secret hidden in modern science is the black man God. Let's read this. So, in the Quran, Surah 51, verse 47-48, it says, quote, "And the heaven, we raised it high with power, and we are the makers of the vast extent, and the earth. We have spread it out. How well we prepared it." Now, let's read this. 1 second. I'm going to read this. So, it says, 1 second. It says on page 48, of the book Message to the Black Man, Elijah Muhammad makes the following statement. He says, quote, "Being the first people of the earth, we are destined to be the last. We are the creators and the makers." In the supreme wisdom lessons given to us by Farad Muhammad, each new convert of the Nation of Islam must memorize and recite the original questions. 10 questions to who is the original man. Alright? So, let's drop down here. I'm going to put this in my description box. You can read it for your own. All right. So we're dealing with molecular biology, right? Molecular biology. So it says here that it's the book that this white man wrote, Robert Bauval, and it says, "Who is the original man? Molecular biology." On page 163, in a recently released book titled Black Genesis, by renowned Egyptologist Robert Bauval and former NASA astrophysicist Thomas Barfy, the author state the following, quote, "Scientists in the field of genetics have been pointing out that it may actually be correct to say that the world was created by black people." What caused the authors of that book to make such an astonishing statement was their reviewing of the 1987 mitochondrial DNA study done by biochemists at the University of California and published in Nature magazine, which pinpointed the genetic origin of all human beings on the planet back to a black woman in Africa, who's referred to as mitochondrial Eve. All right, so let's keep on going here. And it says here that according to studies reported on in the March 7, 2006 edition of New York Times and carried out by geneticist Dr. Jonathan Pritchard and his team at the University of Chicago, along with Richard G. Klein at Stanford, the genetic markers that correspond with modern Asian and European populations, which includes genes associated with pale or white skin color, seem to have come into existence about 6,600 years ago. According to Dr. Klein's studies, there are few skeletons that match either modern Asians or Europeans that can be dated beyond 10,000 years ago. In another study by geneticist Hans Einberg at the University of Copenhagen and reported on in January 31st, 2008 edition of the Independent UK, it was found that the DNA sequence for blue eyes were caused by a mutation that is described by Einberg and his team as a disruption in melanin production that took place between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago. According to the study, everyone before that time would have had brown eyes. What these scientific studies are telling us is that based upon the estimates of Western scientists, prior to a time frame with a range of 10,000 to 6,000 years ago, the only people on this planet would have been black-skinned, brown-eyed people. These recent discoveries in molecular biology not only tell us who the original people on this planet were and are, but they also confirm the general time frame for the beginnings of the various races of men, other than original, which is described in the teaching of Elijah Muhammad at between 6,600 to 6,000 years ago. Now we get into quantum physics. Let's see what they say about quantum physics. Quantum physics, the first human observers. It says that okay, so molecular biology confirms that the black man is the original man. But how did that make him the maker of the universe? If we are to answer this simple question, we must dive into the cutting-edge, mysterious world of quantum physics. Quantum physics can be briefly described as the study of interactions of matter and energy at the atomic and subatomic level. One of the scientific foundations of modern quantum physics is a concept known as wave partial duality, which is the proven scientific observations that all atomic and subatomic matter, such as atoms, photons, electrons, and neutrons, exists as both a wave and a particle. What makes this concept even more bizarre is the fact that what determines whether atomic and subatomic matter manifests itself as either a wave or a particle is human observation. In other words, when we are not looking, the subatomic world is manifested as a series of waves. But when we are consciously observing, it is manifested or collapses into individual particles. Now, David Icke talks about this a lot. He says we are all one consciousness. But he has a racist agenda as well. We're not dumb. Well, at least I'm not. It says this seemingly incredible phenomenon first came into the consciousness of Western science with the now famous Thomas Young double slit experiment in 1803. Young's experiment was designed to reveal the wave nature of light and involved shooting a beam of light at a screen with two parallel slits. This double slit screen was then placed in front of another screen that was designed to highlight the path and patterns produced by the beam of light or photons as they pass through the two slits of the screen in front of it. In the course of carrying out this experiment, a very strange and counterintuitive phenomenon was observed. When the beam of light, which is made up of individual photons, is fired at the double slit screen, there appears on the back screen an interference pattern indicating that the beam of light behaves like a wave that is spread out in space, thus going through both slits simultaneously as we would expect a wave to do. Yet in experiments where the photons of light are fired at the screen at one time, the same interference pattern is formed on the back screen, indicating that each individual photon still travels through both slits at the same time, as if the individual photon were a wave. It says, now, if that were not strange enough, when detectors were placed near the slits so that we might observe the path that each individual photon took, the photons behave like individual particles and travel through just one or the other slit, causing the interference pattern on the back screen to disappear. So again, when we are not looking, subatomic matter behaves and manifests as waves. But when we are observing, it behaves and manifests as individual particles. It says, what this actually means is that the very act of human observation itself literally collapsed the wave patterns of all subatomic matters into individual particles. As strange as this may seem, this experiment has been reported and confirmed over and over again in laboratories all over the world, and is now an established and accepted reality in the field of quantum physics. Quantum physics refers to this phenomenon as the collapse of the wave function and or the observer effect, as originally proposed by the mathematician John von Neumann. So now we're talking about the quantum physics observer effect. It's dealing with your so-called hologram or a false reality or a matrix. It says one of the more significant experiments confirming the observer effect was done at the prestigious Weizmann Institute of Science in February 1998 and was reported on in February 26, 1998 edition of the journal Nature, Volume 3. It says it should be noted that according to quantum physics, the wave function or wave aspect of subatomic particles can only be represented as a wave of possibility when it's not being observed, and not as a localized event or particle. It only manifests or collapses in a measurable particle of matter when it is being consciously observed. It says, thus renowned theoretical physicist Ahmed Goswami, in his book titled God is Not Dead, states that, quote, without consciousness or being aware, there is no collapse, no material particles, no materiality. The above observation has very profound implications for our understanding of the nature of the universe that we live in and interact with it every day. If quantum particles like electrons, neutrons, photons, and atoms that make up larger objects such as trees, mountains, planets, stars, and galaxies are in essence only waves of possibilities that are collapsed into existence by human consciousness or observation, then this would imply that our entire physical universe is on the quantum level, a construction of human consciousness. So that means somebody thought this shit up into existence. Somebody thought all this stuff came into existence through a thought form. It says this bears witness to and is consistent with the concept of a thought projected universe described by Elijah Muhammad on page 46 of his book titled Our Savior Has Arrived, when he gives an account of how the original black people, following the original pattern of the first creator God, consciously willed and called the physical universe into existence with the power of their minds. Now, I talked about this in my video on the videos of Black Root Science. Let's keep on going. This brings us to what is known as M theory, which is a branch of what is called quantum cosmology. And a recent controversial book written by world famous and thinker mathematician Stephen Hawking. You know what Stephen Hawking is, and a physicist, Leonard Lodino, titled The Grand Design. It says, what Hawking and Lodino have essentially done in this book is to take the quantum mathematical principles that govern atomic and subatomic particles and apply them to large scales of time and space that define our known universe. For instance, in M theory, instead of a subatomic particle manifesting a wave partial duality, the entire universe is viewed as a giant cosmic wave of possibility. So it's saying that everything is made up of information existing in what is called a quantum superposition or cosmic wave function, which is spread out as an infinite number of possible universes, or a multiverse. According to the Hawking interpretation of the M theory, this multi-universe, or more importantly, what collapsed into the single universe we see and live in today by human consciousness. You see that? It says here that there was considerable controversy surrounding the release of Hawking's book because it was perceived by some as a work that attempted to somehow deny the existence of God. But the real controversy was that Hawking were in fact bearing witness to the teaching of Elijah Muhammad, showing that man is a God. On pages 8 and 9 of their book, Hawkins and his buddy, in giving a description of man's place in the M theory construction of the realities, state that, quote, it makes us, in a sense, the lords of creation. On page 140, they state, quote, we create history by our observation, rather than history creating us. And on page 141, in describing all the universes with more than three space dimensions that are mathematically possible under M theory, the authors say that these possible universes are irrelevant because we have already determined that we are in a universe with three large space dimensions. The big elephant in the room, so to speak, is just who are the us and we that Hawking and his buddy are describing as the lords of creation, and those who determine the space dimensions of the universe. Who would have been the first or original human observers of the universe? Who were the conscious human beings responsible for the quantum collapse of the so-called multiverse wave function into the universe that we live in today? It says, as it is shown earlier in this investigation, findings in the field of molecular biology have already proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that the first people, and thus the first human observers to walk this planet, were the original black man and woman. According to the mathematics of quantum cosmology, the present state and configuration of the universe owes its existence to the consciousness of these first human observers. Therefore, the inescapable conclusion that the scientific world is faced with is that the original black people of this planet are in fact mathematically and scientifically the true lords of creation. This means that the so-called Asians and Europeans, who according to the findings of molecular biology appeared on the earth sometime between 10,000 and 6,000 years ago, would have come into and gazed upon a universe already fully constructed by the collective consciousness of the original black people of this planet. Over a period of hundreds of thousands, and in accordance to the teaching of Elijah Muhammad, trillions of years. On page 35 of this book, Our Savior Has Arrived, Elijah Muhammad says of the black man, quote, "You are the only man who needed light to light up your universe. You brought forth that light. You are walking around looking for a God to bow to and worship. You are the God. This is the profound secret that is hidden in modern science." So it doesn't matter. You can't escape it. Whether you want to use the Bible, the Quran, any book, or any type of scientific theory, or quantum physics, or matrix, or created reality, or false reality, or we're living in a hologram, or we are avatars, all this stuff came into fruition through black people's imagination. We are living in we are living in somebody's mind. We are living in black people's minds. Black folks' imagination. They thought this shit into existence. I just read this whole article to you. So you can dismiss all that, we the chosen people of God. You are the God. Black man and woman, you are the God. Now, to further prove what I'm saying, let's go back to this dude right here. Doug Vogt. This white dude I talked to on the phone I talk to this dude all the time. And listen what he says. He doesn't want to admit that black folks are God. So he gives the credit to, he says that God is a computer. And he says that if God is a computer, well, who created God? He says some highly advanced beings created our reality. But he don't want to say black folks did it. I'm going to prove it to you. Okay. And we're going to go to here. I'm not going to play the whole video. Let's go right here. Right? Right here.
This is the family who wanted to connect.
1 second. Okay.
And so basically,
So this is Doug Vogt. This is the dude I talk to on the phone all the time, right? And he says he's trying to figure out the secret of the universe, what the Torah really is. He says that the Torah that the Torah is a computer program, right? And let's go here. Let me see. It's not the view I want. Where's it at? You can't escape this stuff. Okay, let's see. Let me go. I just looked at this yesterday. He says that we're living. See, he's multi-dimensional reality. Are we in a hologram? He says we are in a created reality. Theory of multi-dimensions. He's been talking about this stuff since the 1970s. Elijah Muhammad's talking about it back in the 1930s. He's talking about quasars and black holes. Are we in a hologram, multi-dimensional? This is black folks stuff. This is black folks that did this. We are living in a reality that our ancestors created. We come from these people. Now let's go here. These white folks know this. They know what's going on.
And there's a couple of problems with that. Basically, good luck on that one. Let's say it curves, many of them curve, but they hit with tremendous force now. Now, I'm told that, and what I've read also, most of the atomic bullets they're using is lead.
Okay, so let's go back here. I'm just showing you who I talked to on the phone. Now let's go here. Let's see. All right. Talk the Torah and quantum computing, right? I'm trying to find it. Where is it at?
Zombieland Double Tap.
I know my internet's going so damn slow. Give me 1 second. Okay.
All the worlds are contained in the Torah.
Okay. Let's go right here. Man, this thing acting stupid.
Believe that you could evolve to a planet or eventually a star. By my definition of dimensions, you're probably right. 4, the Torah is the cause of the world's creation and also the power that maintains its existence. Again, a highly advanced
Okay.
can't even remotely hope to. That's why you should also know you have no place to go with that matter theory of existence. As far as I know, the theory of multidimensional reality is the only one that can explain all three. But your matter theory of existence can't even remotely hope to. That's why you should also know you have no place to go with that matter theory of existence. It's dead. 1, why was the universe created? Let me explain. A highly advanced civilization, I call them the builders.
Stop right there. Who is he talking about, man? See, he don't want to say it. He don't want to say it. He don't want to say that black folks did this stuff.
Built a Diehold computer, a quantum computer, and loaded it in and turned it on, and it created our universe. Why did they do that? They wanted to get two answers out of it. The first one, you get almost immediately, less than a millisecond. Depending on the speed of this thing, which is extremely fast. It may even be picoseconds for all I know.
So it's not white folks that did this, it's black folks.
You want to find out if the program you put into it is the same one that the beings came up with and come back out and report back to you. If that happens, then you know that the program, the operating system, must permeate all levels of existence. Probably it's the distance between the atoms themselves on the molecules. It's like standing waves, but it's the program, and it permeates
We just read about that.
all levels of existence. There's another part. I'm going to answer when I get to number 3, and you'll understand why. If God created the universe, then who created God? I'm saying the God in our universe, in our diehole, is a computer program. So is that God? It's like, I'll give you an analogy. Let's say you take a computer program and you copy it, let's say 1,000 times onto CDs. And then you take that CD, and well, take the first one, you load it into a computer, make another copy. Then you take that copy to another computer and take that and load it into another computer and copy that. It's like you're standing in front of two parallel mirrors. You see yourself into infinity. Do you care if you're the 100th copy or the 1,000th or the billionth copy? Well, it's the same copy. But therefore, you don't care and don't lessen the value of when I say it's God. What it does tell you, though, is that the very first universe was the product of a thought form.
Stop right there. You heard what you said? Did you hear that?
By some entity.
Some entity. What? Who was he talking about? What entity? You hear that? Let's go back.
Though, is that the very first universe was the product of a thought form by some entity, a thought form. And that permeated all levels of existence.
Let's go back. Wait, let me put,
Now the big one. What is man's purpose in the universe? Well, the clues were given if you were to live forever. Imagine you were reincarnated not 50 times, 100 times, not 1,000 times. What if you were reincarnated 5 or 10 million times?
you are trying. I don't know how to get this through y'all's heads. You all are not understanding this. You black men and women. Did you hear what this white man just said? Let's go back. Now, what he's saying, you can go back and watch my videos on Black Fruit Science. Somebody thought this shit into existence. Who did it? If you ever seen a movie called The One with Jet Li, he talking about multiverses. It's not just one version of him. It's multiple versions of him. So it's not just one version of you black men and women on this earth. It's multiple versions of you. But white folks, they are new. They are new to this earth. So they're not multi-dimensional beings. Because you just heard it from the damn science. They were just made. I know how to piece this stuff together. So here's the movie called The One. Right? If you've never seen the movie, go see it. you heard what the man said. He said this stuff came into existence through thought.
What it does tell you, though, is that the very first universe was the product of a thought form.
Stop. Let's go back here. Back to this. They told you. Quantum physics. This is what this white man is into. Quantum physics, multidimensional realities, M-string theory, matter of theory existence, human consciousness. Okay? Quantum cosmology. It says our universe had already been constructed by a collective consciousness of the original black people of this planet over a period of thousands, hundreds, and millions and trillions of years. So he's saying some advanced beings thought this shit into existence. What advanced beings? What highly intelligent beings? If it ain't white people. So who the hell who is he talking about? Who does he want to say did this stuff? Black folks. Black people. I'm going to post all this stuff in my description box. You want to keep on dealing with that? We the Hebrew Israelites, man, we're beyond that. We're beyond that. All this proof. You are the God. You live in multiple lives. A lot of people like to bash on Nation of Islam, but hey, they have brought out raw facts. Raw facts. You heard it from the white man. You just heard it from him.
By some entity, a thought form, and that permeated all levels of existence.
That's black people, man. That's black people. Let's go back here. You got quantum particles, photons. It says here, theoretical physicist. He says without consciousness, there is no collapse, no material particles, no materiality. This is thought. Without, you cannot stop thinking. Hawkins, they know they know what's going on, man. They say we create history by our observation rather than history creating us. And it says here that according to mathematics of quantum cosmology, the present state and configuration of the universe owes it existence to the consciousness. Consciousness is another word for awareness of these first human observers. Therefore, the inescapable conclusion that the scientific world is faced with is that the original black people of this planet are in fact mathematically and scientifically the true lords of creation. This means that the so-called Asians and Europeans, who according to findings of molecular biology, appeared on the earth sometime between 10,000 and 6,000 years ago, would have come into and gazed upon a universe already fully constructed by the collective consciousness of the original black people of this planet. So you looking for God in the book, praying to God. You are the damn God. Black man and woman. I'm going to post all this in my description box. With that being said, I say peace.